Raider Nation, what's going on? It's Mitchell Renz, your host of the Raiders Report. Coming up on today's show, I miss the good old days of being able to walk into a Blockbuster, maybe getting an Xbox game, getting a movie for the weekend. So I figured coming up on today's show, let's do 6 blockbuster trade ideas where the Las Vegas Raiders and Chicago Bears could agree to a deal to bring Fields to Las Vegas. But what I wanted to be able to do here is not just give you trade ideas from me. I talked to a Bears insider. I talked to an NFL analyst, so that way you get a Raiders point of view, a Bears point of view, and an NFL overall point of view. So why am I even talking about this? Well, maybe you missed my show when we were live. Maybe you missed the show that I put out yesterday here on the Raiders Report around multiple Raiders players telling me that they would like for the Raiders to go out and trade for Justin Fields in 2024. And in fact, they liked Fields more than a lot of the quarterbacks, in fact, all the quarterbacks in this year's draft. That's what one player told me. He is in the final year of his rookie contract next season. He's got a good relationship with Champ Kelly, the Raiders' assistant general or interim general manager. And if they decide to keep Kelly, the Fields trade rumors are going to continue to grow. As it stands right now, Chicago holds the number 1 and number 5 overall pick in the 2024 NFL draft. And if I was in that situation, I would take a Drake May, a Caleb Williams, over a quarterback like Justin Fields, which then means, well, Fields is going to be the odd man out. And could the Raiders potentially take that scenario, yard sale scenario, sweep in, bring him in over to Las Vegas? Because it's only going to cost the Raiders $2.77 million against the cap in 2024 if the Raiders were to go out and trade for Fields. Now, obviously, you'd have to give up some draft picks. So, you have to give up some draft picks, but having Fields at $2.77 million, I mean, that's a good value to have at the quarterback position. Yes, you might have to already give him that 5th-year extension, which we'll talk about more coming up here on today's show. But, like, at the end of the day, I always do this show based on if you can improve at a position, and Justin Fields is a better quarterback than Aiden O'Connell. That's not an outlandish thing to say, and I think most intelligent people would go with that. But where this conversation really happens is, what do the Raiders have to give up to get Fields? Because I'm not giving up too much to get a quarterback like Fields who, let's face it, hasn't proved that he deserves to go for a first-round pick. Yes, he's gotten better as a passer, and yes, this season I have seen a better version of Fields because he finally has a number 1 receiver in DJ Moore. He's an incredible athlete with his legs. Like, his ability to run with the football is the reason why we're even talking about him here, because from an overall throwing standpoint, he's very average. From an athletic standpoint, he's a top 5 athlete at the QB position. Now, I've called him a glorified running back before, but I am curious if you were to put him in an offense and put the right offense around him, could you turn him into a guy like Jalen Hurts? Because the reason why Jalen Hurts is Hurts is because they put him in a perfect system. Yes, Hurts is a great leader, and I think he handles the pressure much better than what Fields does. But from an overall talent standpoint, I don't really think that there's much difference between Fields and Hurts. And in fact, I might make the argument that Fields is a more talented QB than Hurts. It's just Hurts definitely has it a lot more up here and is in a better situation. So coming up, I'm going to give you 2 trade ideas that I made that make sense for the Raiders. 2 trade ideas from a Bears insider, and then 2 trade ideas from an NFL analyst. That way nobody can say, well, Mitch, these trades are one-sided. They are made all 3 ways, just the way you like it. Now, I will say this. I want you to join the most interactive and informative Raiders community here on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button, turn on those notifications. That way, anytime a video drops, you don't miss it. When you turn on your noties and you become a part of that noti gang, when I drop a video here, it pops up on your phone just like a text message, just like an email for some of you older people out there. But the bottom line is this. A lot of stuff happens around the Raiders. News, rumors, and I don't want you to be the dude that misses the report on the Raiders, Justin Fields. It could potentially happen. Now, I do want to show some love to the Noti gang, and I put out a video on December 18th, and some of the first people that were out there and saying, yo, Mitch, I'm a part of that Noti gang. I'm in the comments right now. Shout out to Freddie. Shout out to CJ Klein. Shout out to A Cat, Love Cats, Mario, and Flo. I see you. I appreciate you. And if you want to be a part and get a shout out here on the show, join the Noti gang. Hit that subscribe button. Turn on those notifications. All right, let's go to the first trade idea that I have here for Justin Fields. And I wanted to do it based on draft capital. I have said on this show before, There is no way in hell I'm giving up a first-round pick for Fields. I believe Chicago's going to look at drafting a quarterback. Therefore, Fields' value is going to go down a little bit. Yeah, you don't have to pay him as much, but the first trade that I have up here is the Bears get a second-round pick, which they actually do not have in the 2024 NFL Draft. So then Chicago gets, it'd technically be like pick 1, pick 5, then you're somewhere around like 42, and then you'd have another third-round pick, and then I would throw in a fourth round in 2025. Like, you'll see some of the other trades that are coming up here from our Bears guy and our NFL guy. I'm not as willing to give up as much for Fields as other people out there. So the trades that you're going to see are trades that I believe benefit the silver and black. The second trade idea is, let's say they want a player involved. And I'll show you the biggest team needs here for Chicago after I show you what the Bears trades are. But one of the big-time needs here for Chicago is being able to find another receiver. So to me, I say Justin Fields, who Raiders, they get him. And then the Bears get a second-round pick, and they also get Hunter Renfrow. The reason why, if I'm the Raiders, I'm telling you this right now, I'm trying to cut Renfrow this offseason. If you cut Renfrow post-June 1st, you save about $12 million. If you're able to trade Renfrow pre-June 1st, sure, you're going to eat $5.51 million, but that also helps you save $8.2. And, you know, the more and more I watch Renfrow, the more and more he's starting to remind me of, he's kind of like the Derek Carr at wide receiver. Renfrow, his first 3 seasons, was a much better wide receiver. Then he got hurt. He had 2 concussions last year. And ever since those concussions, I don't care what any Raider fan out there says, he's been a totally different player at wide receiver. He's afraid to get hurt. When he runs with the football, I mean, he just looks like he just puts his head down and wants nothing to happen. He's got a massive fumbling problem. And for the Raiders to go where they need to go next season, Davante Adams is option 1. Jacoby Myers is going to be option 2. 3 and 4 should be Trey Tucker or Michael Mayer, and then that means Hunter Renfrow is going to be making over $11 million. Is that your option 5? Renfrow is a good player. He's not worth his current contract. He hasn't been worth it for 2 seasons. He doesn't even play special teams anymore. So if you're telling me right now I could trade Hunter Renfrow and a second-round pick for Justin Fields, I look at you and say, where do I sign up? Coming up next here on the show is Justin Fields trade ideas. This time, though, from a Bears insider, because I don't want a Bears fan to be like, oh, that trade's not even close for how much it's going to cost. Because here's the thing, the trades that you're going to see, you're right. The trades that I just showed you, if you're a Bears fan, you're going to say that there's no way that that's even close to being enough for Fields. So I'll show you those 2 trade ideas here in just a second. But a huge shout out to today's sponsor, Game Time. And anybody out there that wants to go to a Raiders game, it's the perfect app. For anybody that's looking for a fun weekend in Vegas, it's the perfect app for you. And if you download the Game Time app, you're going to be able to save $20 off, but you got to use code RaidersChat, RaidersChat, for $20 off. That link's going to be available to you all down in the comments and down in the description of today's show. But one thing that I wanted to be able to do for all of y'all is just show you the different ways that, you know, you could save a little bit of money. First is the under $50 selection that Game Time has. Like, if you're like, yeah, I'm not going to go to a Raiders game, they're too expensive. Cool. You got a young kid. You got a, I don't know, family member coming into town. Like, I love my mom dearly. She wouldn't know if we went to a Dallas Mavericks game or if we went to a G League game. Like, she wouldn't know if I took her to a Raiders game or if I took her to probably some random football camp at SMU. Bottom line is this. You have awesome deals here. When you're out in Las Vegas, this app is perfect because it's built on last-minute ticket deals. Like, I don't know what I'm doing this weekend. Do you have any idea what you're doing this weekend?
No shot.
No chance. Guess what, though? While the weekend's going on, if I have a free Saturday and I'm like, you know what? I want to spend $50 and go to an event. If I want to spend $60 going to an event with my fiance, I have that ability to do that. The other thing that I love about Game Time is they have this thing right here, which is kind of like their last-minute ticket deal. It's going to be the best deal that you get. So for me, one of the ways that I always determine whether or not I go to a game is that right there. I swipe it, and if I like the deal enough, I'll grab the ticket. And they also have an all-inclusive price, which shows you how much the ticket is after the taxes and all that. Because the thing that I hate with some of these ticketing apps is, you know, you get a ticket for $100, and then they're like, all right, doo-doo, bebop, Choco Bear, typing in, and after taxes and fees, it's $230. Like, I absolutely hate when that stuff happens, and that's not going to happen here with Game Time. So again, shout out to them. Terms apply. Create an account. Redeem code RaidersChat for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets. Lowest price guaranteed. Let's go to our third trade idea. And again, this one here is from our Bears insider. Raiders get Justin Fields. Chicago gets a second, a fourth, and a fifth round pick in this upcoming draft. So that means the Raiders then would only have a first, a third, and then a sixth and 3 7s. So like you would still have the ability with those 3 7s, to be able to move up into the draft and get something else. But you are depleting quite a bit of draft capital. And I guess what I should have said was this is the draft picks, the numbers before this week. So all the numbers that you see, they're not right. I want you to just look at the rounds. So round 1, round 2, round 3, round 4, round 5, 6, and then the 3 7s. 9 picks in total. If you're giving up 3 of those picks, that means only 6 for your potentially brand new regime. Are you going to give a brand new regime only that amount of picks? Because I'll tell you this, because that Justin Fields, what you just saw there, is pretty close to what the Jets got for Sam Darnold. Let's go to the fourth trade idea, and I think this one is one that you all aren't going to love, but then again, if I don't have to give up a lot of draft capital, I do find it to be an intriguing one. The Bears receive a 2024 second-round pick and Jacoby Myers instead of Hunter Renfrow. So the reason why I put out Renfrow is because when I talked to our Bears insider, he said that wide receiver is one of the biggest needs that they have, and Jacoby would fit better with what they have. However, if I'm the Raiders and I trade for Justin Fields, I want a receiver that actually can run block. Jacoby Myers is a good run blocker at the wide receiver position. He's a physical guy. Where Renfrow, the other reason why I'm okay moving on from him is because the skill set's not quite the same. Like, I want then a receiving team that's not afraid to block. So you're definitely not going to go out and trade for George Pickens. That I can promise you. You're going to have to get physical, and that's where Hunter Renfrow cannot do. This, though, scenario, again, I don't absolutely hate the trade because I want the Raiders to hold on to some of their draft capital. When I talked to our Bears guy, he said the Chicago needs, if Field is traded, your number one biggest need is a quarterback, which they would be able to address in the draft at one of their top 5 picks, probably at number 1. Then it's wide receiver. Okay, so that's why we offered him either Jacoby or Hunter. Center's a big one, which unfortunately Andre James is a free agent. I didn't think that we would offer up Dylan Parham for the only fact of Andre James is a free agent, Greg Van Roten's a free agent, Jermaine Illuminor is a free agent, so that means 2 out of our 5 starting offensive linemen are going to be back, so I think that they're going to keep Parham. Defensive line, we don't have much to trade there. And then at safety, I want the Raiders to keep Marcus Epps and Trevon Merrick because that's been the best safety deal this Raiders team has had in quite some time. So now the next trade ideas that you're going to see are trade ideas from an NFL analyst. So it's not Raiders-based, and it's not Bears bias. So this is from an NFL analyst. His first trade is very simple. Justin Fields, Chicago gets a first-round pick. Now, the reason why that they ended up doing this, and they told me, hey, I got to explain it, is because they think that the Raiders are going to win at least one more game. So if the Raiders win at least one more game, let's say that they're sitting somewhere around 7 wins, maybe 8 wins, and that's probably going to put you somewhere between pick like 12 and 18. Maybe 10 to 18, somewhere in there. If you're the Raiders and you're at pick, let's say 18, you're at pick 16, do you decide then, okay, instead of me trading 3 first-round picks to try to go up and get Jaden Daniels, trade up 4 first-round picks and maybe even then some to get a Drake May and Caleb Williams, or do I give up my first pick at pick number 16, 17, 18, and then go get my franchise quarterback in Justin Fields? So that was their thought process behind trade number 5. For trade number 6, this one was more built on just overall draft capital, and it was a second and a fourth in 2024, and then also a second-round pick in 2025. However, the Raiders in return do get a 6th-round pick in 2024, which, if you're the Raiders, then that gives you 2-6. Like, again, I'm trying to show you the overall what the deal would potentially be from all the different landscapes of the NFL world. Raiders, Bears, and the NFL world. Now, the one thing that I did not do that I usually do is I always say, hey, let me know what you think about those trades. But the reason why I didn't do that is because I want to know what trade is your favorite. And I'm going to imagine that the Raiders trades are probably going to be the best because of the overall deals in them. But I legitimately want to know what was your favorite trade. If it's the first one, type 1 down below. If it was the second trade, type 2. If it's the third trade, type 3. And what I also want you to do, for those of you that aren't watching this live, is tell me the why. Like, why is number 3 your favorite? Why is number 6 your favorite? Why is the first trade your favorite? I told you why they made sense for me. Now I want to know why you think that they make sense for the silver and black. Or if you're like Mitch, I'm going to be honest with you. These trade ideas are cheeks. These trade ideas are bad. I don't want any of these trades to happen. I want you to jump on a shark with these trades. I don't know if that's the right way, but I figured I would try it. Bottom line is, if you don't like any of these deals, let me know. And if anything around Fields happens, we'll continue to keep you guys up to date. If you're looking for more Raiders news or updates, remember social media, Twitter, Instagram at Mitchell Renz 365. Hell, I made a video walking to work today on Cameo for the holidays, which if you're looking for a super random Christmas gift, I'm on Cameo at Mitchell Renz 365. But bottom line is this. We made blockbuster trades around Justin Fields. There are Raiders players that are open to the idea of bringing Fields here to the silver and black. Hopefully you enjoyed the different looks at what it could potentially cost the silver and black to go out and get the Bears quarterback in 2024 if they decide to move on.